In West Virginia, our culture is to care for one another. We're neighborly, and in many instances, we don't think of it as caregiving. We think of it as just doing the right thing.
My parents moved in with my husband and I back in September of 2018. I work full-time, my husband works full-time, and I have a 16-year-old who plays football, who's on the track team. It's new to all of us. We're trying to work out this schedule.
In general, caregivers have a lot of challenges. They are working, they may have children that they're caring for, and so just kind of balancing that is part of the challenge.
That whole process is still, it's still rolling out almost a year later. My mother has macular degeneration, which is a disease in your eyes, and she gave up her driver's license several years ago. Putnam Senior Services is fantastic. Every Tuesday, my mother goes to Bible study at the senior center, and the van comes and picks her up, and they take her there, and she is there until she has lunch, and then after lunch, they bring her back here. So it's door-to-door service.
Yeah.
Whenever seniors are living in rural settings, sometimes I think they feel isolated and as though they are so far out, and what can I expect? So we work with them wherever they're at and try to put as many services in as possible. We have transportation services that we provide. We are able to try to get to the outermost parts of our counties.
We can depend on them, and so that's been a lifesaver.
We'll take prayer requests if anybody has any prayer requests.
When my parents were living in Bluefield, sometimes my mom would just pass out and she would end up in the emergency room. They were going to 2 or 3 hospital visits a week. People would put her on medication and never take her off the medications. No one was talking to each other, and that was the element that was missing.
Learning about what resources are available throughout the community to help caregivers, that can be a challenge too. So working with AARP, the Bureau of Senior Services, the Alzheimer's Association, and other partners, we all work together to provide those needed services and information.
When they came here, we thought maybe we could help. I could go to some of the appointments with the doctors and ask more questions. Connecting with a medical provider that's in a system where they do talk to each other was a big thing too. That does not exist everywhere in this state.
I know one of the things that we're talking about, the challenges of being in a rural area, and there definitely are some. But I also think there's some benefits to being in a rural area. I think that neighbors do know neighbors, and they are willing to help neighbors. There's a lot of sense of community.
I've been here for over 20 years in this area, and people know he's my dad. They know my mom's my mom, and they'll tell us, you know, if there's good things that are coming up or things they might enjoy. I'm just excited that they trusted us with this, and I get to see them every day.
The stakeholder group that AARP has convened has been enormously helpful. There are folks from the medical community, from the Bureau of Senior Services, caregivers, policymakers.
It's a great way for us to connect with groups outside of our aging network. A lot of different groups are brought into collaboration together, and we do learn different ways to do things, different ideas.
We work together to find innovative solutions to address the challenges that caregivers are facing in West Virginia.
We take care of each other. I'm proud as hell to be a West Virginian.